Next up at St Mary's is the visit of Queen's Park Rangers, and to help preview that, we're delighted to welcome another chap with a cool first name. It's Ben Platt from the W12 Podcast. Ben, welcome to the Total Saints Podcast.
Hello, how are we doing? You okay?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Yeah, we're enjoying a couple of wins, which is very unlike us over the last sort of 12, 18 months. But on the sort of flip side of that, you guys have obviously lost 1-0 to Ipswich yesterday. It's one win and 2 defeats in the league so far this season. What have you made of QPR's start?
It's difficult because we had a really poor start to the end of last year. As you know, we were top in October. We were flying. Mickey Beale was, we were on course to do really well. And then as the season went on, we got injury after injury. He left. We had Neil Critchley. We had Gareth Ainsworth. We had we won 3 out of our last 24. Which is mad, really, when you think about it. Think about those numbers. It's really mad.
Sounds like us.
Yeah.
We didn't win 3, Glen.
Yeah. No, but we did that in the Championship, right? So coming into the season, Gareth had a massive job. We spent, when you in the Championship, you've got the FFP, and it's all about the 3 years and not losing a certain amount of money. And we're in a bit of a year where we've overspent. The easy money's gone. So it's going to be really tough for him. So we all knew that, coming into this season. So I think, not going down is it's one of them, isn't it? You don't want to think about that, but that's really what we need to make sure we don't do. Yeah. So going back to your question, beating Cardiff last week was really good. We should have won Saturday. Anybody watching it, we hit the post twice. We missed literally the biggest open goal you'll ever see. But when things aren't going your way, I guess that's how it is. We had loads of injuries as well. We had 3 players going off injured. So it's frustrating, really. But we've got a lot of players coming back as well. We've got Cole back. We've got Steve Cook, Begovic. Yep. So we've got some real experience in there. We just haven't got a lot up top at the moment. We've got Lyndon Dykes off injured. We've got a young lad called Sinclair Armstrong. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's really good. But again, he went off. We don't know if it's cramp or injury or what. But so you don't really know what you're going to get from QPR. And I mean that because we could quite easily lose 4-0 but win 1 or 2-0.
Yeah. In terms of open goals, Ben, you obviously haven't seen Shea Adams at Wolves last season, but
have you not seen our open goal last week?
Not yet. If it beats that, then fair play. But look, I mean, you mentioned Asmir Begovic there, Steve Cook, Jack Colbeck, Lyndon Dykes. Obviously, quite a lot of experience in the side. Those players that he's brought in over the summer, did it feel like the QPR squad needed a bit of experience in guile, or were they just players that were available and he obviously felt he wanted to bring in?
Good question. We didn't lack quality last year. We had a lot of really good loans. We had Tyler Roberts, Ethan Laird, Tim Ibrahim from Aston Villa. So we had some real good loan players in, and we had a lot of youth already here, and it just wasn't working. We'd go 1-0 down, and that would be it. Honestly, most games, especially the second half of the season, we would just it wouldn't end well. So we definitely needed experience. So I think he's done right in that. And, Steve Cook is, I mean, the players we brought in will definitely make us better. But it kind of feels a bit of a relegation battle that we're in, and which is annoying. But that's I think, and Gareth Ainsworth, I don't know if you all know, he traditionally is a bit of a long ball merchant, but he's realised that won't work with the players. We've still got Ilias Chair and Chris Willock, who are really good in this league. So he changed it the last couple of weeks after the Watford defeat first day of the season, and we got a good win at Cardiff, and we weren't too bad yesterday. So I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I feel like we're kind of positive, but
could go either way.
Ben, with the way everyone was talking at the start of the season about QPR, and I watched the Gareth Ainsworth interview, and he said that we're only 3 points off top after you lost on the opening day. I couldn't believe that you actually then went on to win a game at Cardiff. So what was the game plan at Cardiff? How did the goals come about?
So he changed it. Like I said, he's very much a big man up top. keep it compact, and it wasn't working. It didn't work at Watford. We obviously got thrashed. So what he did was he said, and he admitted that he played to our strengths a bit more with the little nippy players that we've got, like Willock and Cher. We've got Richards, and he changed it, and we played 3 at the back. 3. It was weird. It was kind of 4 when we had the ball, that went to 5 when we didn't have the ball, and Cardiff, I don't think we're expecting that, and so it meant that we played really well in the first half. We should have been 3 or 4-0 up. We got the second goal, and the problem we've got at the moment is that we seem to hit a brick wall when it comes to 65th minute. And
that's good news, Russell Martin.
That's what happened at Ipswich. Exactly. It kind of happened. It happened yesterday. We were brilliant for the first 70 minutes, 65 minutes. Couple of injuries. Everyone gave everything, and then we lost 1-0, and it didn't really look like we were going to come back with Lyndon Dykes, because we didn't have a lot up top. So yeah.
I've just seen a great comment here from Barry that says Begovic gives QPR a goal threat. For those that you may not know this, Ben, but Asmir Begovic once scored against us at Stoke. So from one end of the pitch to the other, it blew over Artur Boric's head and went in. So you never know. But Glenn, I mean, with all due respect to QPR, I mean, if we want to do well this season, then this is a game we need to be winning, isn't it, Glenn?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we. I'll say the same as I said before we played Norwich last week. Obviously Norwich are probably fancy to do a bit better than QPR, but we have been so bad at home for the last 4 or 5 years and it has to start somewhere. If you look back to our season when we got promoted out of this league in 2012, we actually won our first 10 home games. And we won 16 overall out of 23. And that's the sort of, if we're serious about getting promoted this year, then that's the sort of thing we have to do. Yeah, I know we've won the first 2 away from home, but there's got to be a point that we start behaving like you're supposed to behave and get most of your points at home. And this has to be, the first one of those. On the face of it, and even with what Ben said there, we should certainly be too strong for QPR, but we have to go out there, do a professional job, and get the job done. I don't have too much to say other than that. QPR will obviously have a game plan. Whether that'll, I'm expecting teams to come to St Mary's and try and sit tight. But whether QPR have got the players to do that, I don't know. It sounds like, that hasn't necessarily worked when they've tried to do that this season. So, but you would like to think that if they come and try and play, they'll give us problems. But we should be better at that style of game than they are, especially at home. But I'm optimistic because the atmosphere in the crowd was very good against Norwich, even though we went behind 3 times. And the players have shown already this season that they've got the spirit to get the job done. But this should be a different type of game to the Norwich one. But mostly we've got to prove to ourselves as much as anything that we can win at home and go on a bit of a run of home games. I mean, I don't know if you know, Ben, we only won twice at home the whole of last season.
Yeah,
it was just shocking. So. And the previous seasons haven't been much better than that. So we're
still not won at home this season.
No, we need to start. It needs to be a start against QPR next
week. We've won 1 game in 15 at home, just to let you know. So I sort of, that's terrible, isn't it?
I think
it's actually woeful. So QPR are better away from home. So you're going to get a better QPR away from home than you would do at home. That's not to say that we'll do anything, but I think that the first goal is really key. In the game. I think if you get the first goal, we're in a bit of trouble. But I think if we get the first goal, do you know what I mean? We sit back and 10 men behind the ball, and it's up to you then to do what you need to do.
Yeah, and Steve, just from a Saints point of view as well. I mean, we'll come on to talk about transfers after we've let Ben go, but obviously it could be quite a roller coaster week of ins and outs potentially and things like that as well. So just that aside, is it really just about Saints continuing the momentum so far?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, let's be honest, this is the first game in the league this season where we are absolutely expected to
Pressure's on us, isn't it? Absolutely.
Sheffield Wednesday away, Plymouth away, newly promoted sides. There's always a banana skin there. There's always that mental sort of fortitude thing. Do your players have the bottle and the balls to stand up in what's likely to be a relatively hostile atmosphere? And so far, the answer is yes. For those away games. Now, home game against a side that the bookies reckon are going down. And I mean, if you'd asked any QPR fan half an hour into the season, they would have absolutely agreed with you. Whether their performances since half time at Watford has kind of changed minds, who knows? But they're clearly better organised than they were that afternoon, based on performances and results since. But it's one of those where can we sort of ignore the noise, if you like, of any off-field stuff that's going on with us transfer wise? Can we just get on, walk over that white line and just get the job done? And I mean, as I say, Gillingham aside, where we basically put a reserve team out almost with a sort of view to actually losing. I mean, the games that we've
played, you're talking about.
The games that we've played in the league, the attitude has been spot on. So as long as the attitude in a game where we're playing against a side who theoretically are going to struggle all season, as long as the attitude there is as good, then I'm confident. If we think that we're going to turn up and it's just going to happen, then that's problems. And I mean, ordinarily a Gareth Ainsworth's Wickham team would have been a horrible side to play against in this situation.
We won't be like that, mate. QPR won't be playing like that.
Yeah, this QPR team doesn't have the same kind of attributes as a side. You don't have a load of big ugly players who aren't particularly interested in playing football. You've got some good players in there. Ilyas Chair played in the World Cup less than a year ago. So it's not like you're a bunch of park players. They've been a good team. They were as you said earlier, they were top of the league in October. And I mean, whatever happened, I mean, Christ knows how everything kind of fell apart so rapidly there. I mean, obviously a multitude of things went on, but there's still very, very clearly some good players there that are more than comfortable in the Championship, probably one or two that could play at a higher level. So it's not going to be easy. We've got to go out there and do it properly.
Yeah. Just before we get some score predictions then, Ben, I think it's coming up for almost a decade now since QPR have been back in the Championship. And if my research was right, I don't think you finished higher than 9th during that time. So obviously it's been quite a sort of turbulent period on and off the pitch. So, in terms of long-term strategy, say maybe the next 3 to 5 years, what is the plan for QPR now? Obviously they've got a guy in who used to play for the club as manager. You're talking about some of the young players. Is that kind of the philosophy they want to try and follow now?
Yeah, it's really difficult because that 9th place that you're talking about was literally 2 years ago, which was under Warburton. So, the feeling was that we could really kick on, and hence the amount of money that we spent in the last 2 years to do that. But in the Championship, when you're not got parachute payments, the FFP really kicks in, and we're in our 3rd year, and that has really impacted us and meant that we can't spend any money. We're dying to sell a player. I don't know. And I hope Chair and Willock are here come Saturday, but they might not be. Chair is wanted by Leeds, Leicester. I don't know who else, but he may not be here. If he is, great. But so it's difficult for us a little bit because we're hampered by FFP when you're in this league for a certain amount of years. We've been in this league for like 10 years, I think. So since then, and we spent quite a lot last 2 years on wages, and some real big loans that we thought would kick us on, but they haven't. So that's basically where we are, mate. Really, and we'll give it a good go, and there'll be a big QPR crowd there on Saturday as well. So we'll give it a go, and if we can get the lead and try and hold on, I think we will. But
you've got a good record at St Mary's as well, haven't you?
I know, I've been there.
Although we beat them last time, Graziano Pala scored, didn't he? So, let's after all that, then Ben, let's get. It sounds like it's going to be a moderately positive prediction from you here, the way it's going. So, what's your score prediction?
I keep saying this every week, and it sounds really. It could even be a 3 or 4-0, but we could nick it 0-1. But I think maybe a 2-1 Saints, but
2-1 Saints. All right. Well, we'll definitely take that. But Steve, what do you reckon?
If we get an early goal, then I mean you can kind of draw a scoreline out of a hat. I think it could be anything. You never quite know how a team like in QPR situation will react, but I think, let's be honest, we should have enough, and we should have enough to do it comfortably. I mean, this could very easily come back and bite me on the arse, but that's what social media is like, and we'll get all the
memes will be out,
all the memes, all the engagement. But 3-0.
3-0.
I always feel like a Russell Martin team will concede. That's my positive. We'll say on our pod tomorrow. I always feel like...
That's possibly the one mistake on my part. When was the last time we kept a clean sheet?
How about 1984 or something like that?
It was that Leicester game, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was it. So yeah. Well, I'm with Ben. I'm with Ben. I'm going for a 2-1 Saints win, which is very unlike me. But Glenn, what do you reckon?
We haven't got a clean sheet in us. Said that last week, and I've been proved correct. So QPR will undoubtedly score, but hopefully it will be a consolation at the end and not at the start. So I'll go 3-1 to us. 3-1
to us. Brilliant. All right. Alfie, to finish things off, what are you going for?
Yeah, I think I'm going to back Steve on this occasion. I'm going to go 2-0 Saints. I think the clean sheet is coming eventually. It has to be, surely, at some point.
No,
so we'll go now.
It isn't.
you guys will be spending 20 minutes next week talking about the clean sheet. So brilliant. But
what I will say is, sorry lads, I will say we at the moment, I'm not too sure we've got a striker fit.
There we go.
I don't know.
That won't be a problem.
just put a big centre half up front.
He likes to play games, and in relation to like, he'll say that someone's injured or got a niggle, and then you won't see him for months, right? So we've got Lyndon Dykes out injured. I don't know how long he's out. We won't say. Armstrong, who was man of the match on Saturday, even Ipswich fans were saying how good he was. He went off injured, and we don't have anyone else. So,
yeah. Well, there we go. But no, Ben, thanks for so much coming on and having a chat about QPR. And obviously, Saturday aside, wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we can get you on when we're up at Loftus Road later on in the season.
Absolutely. Yeah. All the best.
Brilliant.
Obviously
Top man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Cheers. Bye-bye.